Alright, as explained in the video, we learned about the equation of a line, slope, and the y-intercept last semester. But just to refresh your mind and for you to remember, um, just like the video talked, the equation of a line or the slope-intercept form that we're going to be using in this lesson is the same thing, y equals mx plus v. In order for you to write the slope-intercept form, you need to find the slope and the y-intercept. And there's two ways to find the slope. You can find the slope either through rise over run, if you're good at it, right? Or just get 2 points, the coordinate points of those 2 points, and use the formula that we all know, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then don't forget that the y-intercept is the initial point. That means where x equals 0, or where your line is crossing through the y-axis on your graph, okay? So for example, here will be your starting point. This one right here will be your starting point, which, as you notice, is the same thing when x equals 0. This will be 0. So that's how you find the y-intercept, okay? Again, it's a review. So this is what we're going to be talking about in this unit, in this lesson for today. So it says, use the following graph for question number 3 and 4. Question number 3 says, what is the slope? Okay, there's two ways. Remember, you can either do rise over run or the slope. I'm going to do the slope form, okay? So in order for me to find the slope formula, I need 2 points. I'm going to start with the starting point. I know this is a starting point because it crosses through the y. The coordinate points of that one is 1989 because that's the way it starts on the years, and 212. The second point, okay, is going to be at 1990 minus 2, sorry, not minus, comma, 214. That's on your y. And remember, your slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. My y2 for this one is going to be 214 minus 212 over 1990 minus 1989. 214 minus 212 gives me 2, and 1990 minus 1989 gives me 1. That means that 2 over 1 gives me 2. My slope for this is 2. The other way you could have shown this is by rise over run. Remember, we have to do rise first, okay, and then run. As you can see, I'm going 2 squares up, but it's going from 212 to 214. Okay, that means I'm adding by 2. And then don't forget that this point right here is 1989, and then you're moving towards 1990. That means that is 1 year. You're moving 1 year, which is the same thing. Okay, don't forget rise over run. You're rising at 2, run at 1, so slope is 2. Okay, the rise over run might be confusing to some of you guys still. So that's why I recommend the slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, either way, you'll get the same answer. Okay, next question, it says describe what the slope means in context of the problem. Okay, we know the slope is 2, but what does it mean? Well, the graph is talking about people in health insurance. The x-axis is talking about the years. The number of people is represented by the y-axis. And I know that my slope is 2. That means that people with health insurance increase every year by 2 million people. Okay, so that's what it means. Remember, the change of y over the change of x. The change of x is 1. The change of y is 2. 2 is talking about the number of people, so it's 2 million people. The change of x is 1. That means that's every year. That's why I put every year. Okay. And then what were we talking about? Well, people with health insurance. And why did I say increase? Well, because my graph is going up and because my slope is positive. If my slope was negative, I would have said that it was decreasing. So make sure you guys pay attention to that little details, okay? Next, what does the y-intercept represent in the context of the graph? Again, the y-intercept is the initial point. What is the initial point here? Is 1989 and 212. That means that the initial year with people, sorry, that people had let me rephrase this. In 1989, 212 million people had health insurance. There you go. So in 1989, 212 million people had health insurance. That's what the initial point represents. It's the initial of people with health insurance. When did it start? In 1989. How many people had it already? 212 million people. All right. So at this moment, try the next one on your own. Alright, and there's new vocabulary added to this lesson, scatterplot and the line that best fits. Scatterplots is just graphs that have points all over, okay? So points on a graph. Alright, I'm going to give you different scenarios here because they all are different, okay? So if I have a graph and I have scatter plots all over, okay? I'm trying to make this as neat as possible, okay? You're actually going to draw a line that best fits each graph, okay? If you can draw a line that best fits, so the line that best fits is the line that matches so it's the line that best matches the scatter plot. For instance, option A, I see that all my scatter points, my plots are going up. They're all over, but I know I can imagine a line going up here. For option B, my scatter plots are all over the place. So for this actually will have no solution. I can't find one that best fits this graph. For C, I see that all my scatter points are actually going down. So this one have a decrease. Okay. So that's what scatter plots means and the line that best fits. The line that best fits is going to help you represent the data because the scatter plots are all over. We can't find an exact line for all of them. That's why we try to best fit this line, and that's the line that we use to describe the data. Okay, so here we go. It says a trend line has been drawn through the scatter plot below. Write the equation for the trend line. All right, so for this one, as you can see, you have scatter plots, okay? They're all over the place, but we can draw a best fit line that matches this graph through the middle, okay? And we need to find the equation of that line, okay? That means I need 2 points on that line, okay? You always want to start, just to make sure, you always want to start with the initial points. As you can see, the line starts at right here, okay? And I'm going to give this my coordinate point because I need my slope in order to write my equation and to find the slope, right? So my coordinate point for this one will be at 0 and 55. Okay. And then the next point I'm actually going to use a point that's already in the graph and it's part of my scatter plots, which is this point right here. This point is going to be at 2 and 65. It's in the middle between 60 and 70, so it's 65. And remember, I use my y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 to find my slope here. So x2 will be 65 minus 55 over x2, which is 2 minus 0, which is going to give me 10 over 2, which is going to give me 5. So my slope is 5, so I have enough information to write my equation. So y equals 5x, and then b. B is the starting point. As you can see, I already have the starting point, which is this right here. My y-intercept for that one is 55, so it's going to be plus 55. And that's how you write the equation. Remember, we're focusing on the equation of the line, so you want points on the line, okay? Try the next one on your own. All right, next, question number 7 is like the previous question. However, they already gave you the coordinate points. Okay, so this one is much more easier. They gave you the coordinate points. That means that this has to be x1, y1, x2, y2. And you need to write the slope in system form. And again, they have it written for you. All you have to find is the m and the b for this equation that best fits the scatter plot to the right here. All right, first thing is I'm going to find the slope. Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Y2 is 28 minus 36 over 6 minus 2. Okay, 28 minus 36 is actually going to give me negative 8. And then 6 minus 2 gives me 4. Negative 8 divided by 4 gives me negative 2. That means that my equation here is y equals negative 2x plus, and then remember, b is the starting point from the line. The line is this red line, which starts right here. This is my starting point, okay? That starting point on the y is at 40. That means that it's going to be plus 40. So this is the equation that best represents my graph here. And remember, just because your slope is negative or your answer for your slope is negative doesn't mean it's wrong. It's right. Your negative slope means that your line is going to be decreasing. And as you can see, it's decreasing. Okay? All right, next. It says use your equation to tell the price when 18 units are sold. All right, so you need to find when there are 18 units sold. 18 units, as you can see, units sold, it's talking about the axis, okay? That means that you are already, so you have your equation, y equals negative 2x plus 4, remember? 18 units sold, 18 units sold. It's talking about the x. So this is your x variable, okay? So x equals 18. And you need to find your y, the price. Well, we have our equation. All we have to do is plug it in. Okay. Y equals negative 2. I said x will be 18 plus 40. Okay. So negative 2 times 18. Okay. All you have to do is solve for it now. Okay. So 18 times negative 2 gives me negative 36 plus 40. That means I'm actually subtracting. That's actually going to give me 4. So y equals $4. So that means that the price when it's going to be 18 units is going to be $4. And again, you can figure out and the price of how much is going to be with whatever units they give you. What if they give you 20 units? Well, just plug it into the equation. That's a good part after having the equation is that you can use it to figure out any other unit sold. So you can use it whenever you can to solve for something that is not given to you in the graph. Okay, so try the next one.